What happens when, just like common people, courts also find it difficult to understand certain terms of the statute made by the government on what it says? There are many circumstances when such types of problems arise. Here comes the role of rules of interpretation of statutes. Statutory interpretation is an important part of how the legal system works. Sometimes a law is not clearly written or has more than one meaning. In such situations, it is the job of the courts to find out what the law really means and what was the intention of the lawmakers. Over the time, certain rules have been developed to help judges for interpretation purposes. There are primary rules of interpretation and there are secondary rules as well. The primary rules of interpretation of statutes are literal rule, mischief rule, golden rule, harmonious construction. Each rule of statutory interpretation has its own method and purpose, and together they make sure that the law is both strong and flexible enough to handle modern and practical situations. Let's understand what the literal rule says. The literal rule is the most basic and widely recognized rule of interpreting laws. According to this rule, judges should give the words of the statute their plain, ordinary and natural meaning in a way that an ordinary person would understand them when the statute was made. Courts can apply the literal rule strictly focusing on the text of the law by avoiding any attempt to interpret the statute's legislative intention or policy considerations. The idea behind the literal rule is linked to the separation of powers. This means that it is the job of the legislature, that is parliament or state assemblies, to make laws and judiciary, that is courts, to apply them. If judges stick to the clear words of the law, they respect the authority of parliament and avoid interfering in the law-making process. This makes the law more certain and predictable so that people can trust and follow it easily. Second, golden rule. The golden rule is a slight change or improvement to the literal rule. It is used when reading a law in its plain, exact words would lead to something absurd, unfair or not logical. In such cases, judges can slightly change the meaning of the words, but only as much as needed to fix the problem. Narrow or wider application is a choice for the judge to do justice. The golden rule helps judges prevent unfair or silly results, but it does not give them the power to make new laws or bring in their own opinions. They still need to follow the law closely. Third, mischief rule. The mischief rule requires judges to focus on the problem that the law was trying to solve. This rule helps courts look at the purpose behind the law instead of only the exact word. This rule comes from a very old case called Haydon's case that in the 1584. It says judges should look at four things. What was the law before this new law was made? What problem or mischief existed under the old law? What solution was the new law trying to bring? And why did the lawmaker feel that the new law was needed? Answer to these four questions help judges understand the aim behind a specific law. Here comes the secondary rules of interpretation. First, nocere socius. Nocere socius is a Latin phrase where nocere means knowing, a means with, and soci means association. Pardon for the pronunciation errors that I make. It implies that a word is known by the company it keeps. The goal of the noceteresis is to avoid giving a word a broad or inappropriate meaning and ensuring that the word fits in within the context. In legal interpretation, it means that the meaning of unclear or vague word can be understood by looking at the other words surrounded in the same sentence or list. It helps in identifying the legislature's true intent. Second, ejusdem generis. Ejusdem generis means of the same kind or class. When the general words follow specific words, the general words are restricted to the things of the same nature as those specifically listed. By ensuring that general words are not given an overly broad meaning, courts maintain coherence and purpose of the law. This is particularly important when ambiguous language in statutes could lead to multiple interpretations. Third, expressio unius est exclusio alterius. This maxim is a Latin one that means the express mention of one thing implies the exclusion of others. In simple terms, when a law explicitly lists certain items, it is assumed that anything not listed is intentionally excluded by the lawmakers. This rule helps courts refrain from interpreting laws in a way that includes things not mentioned unless there is a clear intention to do so. Fourth, contemporanea expositio. This is a Latin maxim again, which means interpretation should be in accordance with how it was understood at the time it was enacted. It is especially used for ancient or historical laws where the meanings of words or phrases may have changed over time. This rule recognizes that the language and social conditions at the time of enactment play a vital role in understanding what the law truly meant. Though all the primary and secondary rules discussed so far, one thing is clear. Legal interpretation is not just about grammar, it's about intention, logic, and fairness. When the words of a law don't give the clear answers, judges rely on primary and secondary rules of interpretation to find their meaning. While primary rules are the first step, secondary rules play a crucial role in solving deeper legal puzzles. These rules ensure that justice is not defeated by technicality or ambiguity, and that the spirit of the law is respected. If you like the information, please follow and share with your peers. Thank you.